G'day everyone, Tim Plummer here from Sydney, Australia. Today I'm going to talk about Joomla component development. Now this is going to be the first in a series of videos that's going to take you step by step through all the things that you need to do to make your own Joomla extensions, and we're going to focus on components because they're the most difficult, and basically if you can do a component you can also then do a module or a plugin or even a template if you really wanted to. So I'm hoping this course will be useful to people who are just starting out in Joomla component development. Maybe they know a bit of PHP, little bit of HTML, that sort of thing, but they've got absolutely no idea how to get started in Joomla development. Or maybe it'll be useful for people who have dabbled in a bit of development but just really want to know the basics. How do I add a toolbar icon? How do I add a menu? How do I add a field to a form? That type of thing. And also hopefully it's useful for people who are site builders who are using other people's extensions, and maybe they just want to make little modifications. Perhaps they want to add in a field on a form, or add in a column on one of the views, just to make the components they're using better for their customers. So what we're going to do is start out by having a look at the Hello World tutorial on the docs.joomla.org. Now, most people who, when they're starting out in Joomla development, they hear about docs.joomla.org, and it's a really great resource to find information about Joomla. There's a developer section here that you can go to, and developing a model view controller component is where most people start out. It's essentially the Hello World tutorial that shows you how to get started with a Joomla component. Now, because Joomla 2.5 is the current long-term release, that's the one we're going to focus on initially, and also the tutorial for Joomla 3 isn't complete yet anyway, so let's have a look at the Joomla 2.5 one. Now, people who've already had a look at this, you may have gone through all the steps, probably been completely overwhelmed at first, but don't panic. It's all quite understandable once you know a little bit of the basics. So you may have spent a few hours going through this tutorial and doing all the different steps, and at the end you end up with an extension that you can download. There's a link here which is somewhat hidden, but we'll just download this now. And it's a Hello World 0.0.19, which is the last one in the tutorial series. So you download that, install it on your site, have a bit of a play, and you have a look at it, and it just looks nothing like some of the core components. It's missing a lot of the stuff that you'd expect. We don't have a toolbar icon at the top here. A lot of the menu buttons are missing at the top here. You can't click on the text to open up a record. There's no status columns. You don't have any of the filters you normally see, that sort of thing. If we just quickly compare this to the web links component, you can see here you've got all these different buttons. You've got a whole lot of status filters. So you've got a status button you can click on to change the status of a record. When you click on a record, you can actually open it up and edit it. All this sort of functionality, just basic stuff, is missing in the Hello World component. So, and you notice there's no icon on the menu as well. Lots of little things that we could just make this extension much more usable and turn it into something you can actually use for yourself. So what we're going to do is take this Hello World component and fork it and turn it into our own component and add in all these missing features the core components have, turn it into a useful product. The other thing you'll notice about the Hello World tutorial is it's very much focused on the back end. There's very little on the front end. So we're also going to have a look at the front end, what you need to do to make all that happen. If you look at the front end of the Hello World at the moment, there's just a text that prints out Hello World. It's really exciting. And there's also another view where you can edit that text, but it's, yeah, pretty crappy. So what we're going to do is create an extension called BF Portfolio, and we'll just have a look at that. basically we've got all these standard buttons that you'd expect. We've got the toolbar icon, we've got the menu icon, we've got an extra tab here for another view. We have the status ticks down the side here. You can actually click on a document to open it up. We've added in some extra fields to make it a bit more useful. And you can see that we've got the ordering, the ID, status filter, trash, all these sort of things that you'd expect in a component. And if you have a look at the front end, essentially what this component does, it's a portfolio, so it allows you to display an image with a title and a link. So when you click on the image, it'll go to a URL that you specify in the document. We're also going to play around, make it a little bit responsive as well. So when you shrink your web browser, you'll notice that it's all dynamically rearranging based on the size of the browser. So that's all standard sort of stuff that that you'd expect in an extension. Now, at the moment, we're just working in Joomla 2.5, but closer to the end of this series, we're also going to have a look at what you need to do to make your extension work in Joomla 3. There's some new stuff in there with Bootstrap that makes the back end quite different to Joomla 2.5, so there's some little tricks in there. There's also some code we need to change to actually make it work, so we're going to look at all that too close to the end of this series. And at the end, you'll have a complete extension that you've built yourself, and it will work, and you can package it up and install it on other Joomla sites. So you'll be able to use these same skills that you're learning here to create your own components and distribute them to your customers. So that's what this series is all about. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll talk to you soon.